Okay, I'm going to tell you a story today. My 13-year-old brother now has a car. He can't drive, but he has a car. And so, to store the car, they had to clean out the garage. And guess what I found in the garage? A whole bunch of books I've never read that were going to a charity shop. And that's just, no. These are mine now. I'm adopting them. I am going to save them. They are mine. So I have 8 books that I saved from the garage that my mother had bought, and now I'm old enough to read them. And some of them are children's books, but I've never read them before, and they were in my house the whole time, and I can't believe it. So here's a book haul for ya. The first book I found was Love Walked In by, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Marissa de los Santos, who is also the author of the Jane Austen Book Club book, which I have never read but plan on eventually. I believe this is an adult book. The main character meets her love of her life in this little coffee shop. She meets a little 11-year-old girl that was abandoned and who is meeting with her father for the first time. And they become friends, and that is all I know about this book. But it has a coffee shop, and that sounds really interesting, so I'm excited for this one. And then I found the sequel to that book called Belong to Me, and it is about the same main character, Cornelia Brown, and her life in the suburbs after she moves and gets married in the first book. Next, I found a book I'm really excited about because it's by an author that I haven't read in such a long time, but I really enjoyed when I was younger. And that book is The Last Summer of You and Me by Anne Brashers, who is the author of The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This is a book about 2 sisters in their 20s who return to a beach that they used to spend a lot of their childhood at, and then there is a love triangle with their childhood friend, and it's a story about the sisters' relationships and how different they are. I'm wanting to read this for a long time, actually, but I've never gotten around to getting it from the library or anything, so it was nice that I just found it, in my house. Another book that I've been meaning to read but never really found anywhere is the Guernsey Literary and Potato Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. This book is about books, and that really excites me. It's also historical fiction. Next up is a book that I wanted to save mostly just based on the cover, and that is The Secret Life of C.C. Wilkes by Diane Chamberlain. And it starts out with a pregnant woman who goes missing, and no one knows what happens to her or her child except C.C. Wilkes. So she knows how the woman died, and then she adopted the little girl. She just took her. It sounds really different from books that I normally read. It'll be interesting. Now on to the animal section of this haul. The Tail Desperado by Kate DiCamillo. This will be a fun little read, and then I'll get to watch the movie finally. So that'll be fun. Lastly, I have 2 books that seem very, very similar to me. They're both about animals, and they both have kind of the same covers, but they're not written by the same author. They're not published by the same publishing house. It's very strange to me. And that would be Dewey and Marley and Me. Look similar. Both have end sheets of the real-life animal that these books are based on. Marley and Me by John Grogan is obviously about Marley, the dog, and his family throughout his lifetime, which I've seen the movie, but I have not read the book. Dewey by Vicki Myron. This is about a cat who lives in the library of this small town, and he influences people and everyone loves him. And so it'll be really interesting because I love cats and I love libraries, so how could this possibly go wrong? Unless the cat dies in the end, which it probably will, and that'll be really sad, and I won't like that because I already know how Marley and Me ends, so Lots of sad animal books for me. That is all I have for today's book haul, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!